All right, you guys, we're heading out to go check out a truck right now. We're at Chevron. We got money, we got fuel. Let's do this. So on Monday, we set out on this adventure to go buy this Toyota Tundra, and it was supposed to be something else than it was. And anyways, I filmed a ton of it, and this was supposed to be a whole production YouTube video going on a little road trip to go pick up this truck and get back home, and it did not go as planned. I was gonna make a video of the footage we got, but there were some key things that I forgot to say, so I thought we would just go over it real quick, what happened here. So as I've mentioned to you guys before, looking for a Toyota project truck. I said I wanted to spend around $7,000, which if somebody came to me and said, hey, I'm looking for a cool Toyota 4x4 project, I have $7,000, I would say
it'd be a lot cooler
if you had 10 grand. All right. The difference between 7 and 10 is huge, and that could be part of the reason why things went a little bit wrong. So I found this Toyota Tundra on Craigslist the other night, and the guy wanted $7,500 for it. 2002 silver access cab, 4-wheel drive, a couple hours away in Antioch. And you know, like looking back on the whole situation, there was weird things right off the bat. You know, not everybody's supposed to behave and act how you want them to, but at the same time, you know, there's just like norms. And so I saw the ad on Craigslist, I called, nobody answered, and then I texted, is the truck available? Like 3 hours later, this guy texts me back, yes. And I tried to call again, and then he wrote me and said, I'll call you right back. And then about an hour and a half later, he calls back, which when you tell somebody I'll call you right back, hour and a half later, I don't know, these are just things. This is not how I envisioned it going in my head. Hour and a half later, a guy calls, and I talk to him for 5 minutes. He's like an old, sounds like an old Harley dude or something. He's like, hey, what's up, brother? And we talked for a few minutes. That's what he sounded like. He didn't sound like Hulk Hogan.
And let me tell you something, brother.
Definitely didn't look like that.
So, okay, that's where we're going. That's where we're going with this. So I talked to this guy for a little while. He tells me I've owned the truck for 15 plus years. It's a beautiful truck, has a rebuilt engine. I have all the paperwork for it. There's some interesting stuff going on with this truck. It has an AEM intake kit, which, you know, even though it is carb legal, I wouldn't mess with one of these. But the coolest thing is he has it smogged. He has the title. It says no strange odors, nothing weird's going on with it. Rebuilt transmission, everything works perfect.
It had the perfect ad.
It did have the most perfect ad. It was like, you know, new Pioneer stereo, JL audio, but, you know, it does have 280,000 miles. It wasn't too good to be true, and I know those weird ads, you know, that you can just tell are a scam. This was not one of them. You know, it was normal pictures, normal write-up, had a phone number. So I talked to the guy for a little while. So I told the dude, hey, I'm gonna come up tomorrow and we're gonna come check it out. And he said, sounds good, call me in the morning, we'll put it together. Well, again, I envisioned calling him the next morning about 9 o'clock, he'd answer and we'd be on our way. Call him next morning at 9 and nothing happens. About 2 hours later, he calls back, this is on Monday, and he says, hey, you guys, head on up. So I said, hey, let me just ask you a couple quick questions, man. I'm not looking to drive a couple hours for any weird surprises. Do you think the truck will make it back to Santa Cruz? And he laughs and says, you know, I would drive it to New York and back tomorrow. There's nothing weird going on. So I decided to take a chance. It took us a little bit longer to get ready than we thought it would take. We had to go fuel up we took her Sequoia. She wanted to fill up the gas tank first. I got like a slow pump at Chevron. I swear to God, I was there for 10 minutes. I'm like,
that is not what made us late, though.
I was like, felt like I was filling a kiddie pool with gas or something. It would not stop. So we fill up the Sequoia, we get our money stuff together, and we hit the road, and we're having a great time. You know, we were gonna make a really cool YouTube video. So I mean, we even saw all kinds, not that I'm promoting car accidents, but we saw some crazy car accidents. There was a lot of action on the way up there. One thing we didn't anticipate is the heat. You know, it's like, it's insane if we get hotter than 68 degrees where we're at. We're right by the ocean, and next thing you know, it is like 88, 90 degrees heading towards Antioch. So we get to Antioch, and it's pretty cooking, and we're not really ready for that. We do have our 2 daughters with us. So as we get closer to Antioch, he texts me and says, hey, here's the address, and we're thinking it's his house, and we look it up, and it's actually an In-N-Out burger. Again, not a problem. Even when him and I talked the day before, I said, hey, I've sold a ton of vehicles. I don't usually invite the person in my house unless, you know, there's some real special connection there. So again, we're pumped to get some In-N-Out, so we're like, all right, that's totally fine. So we get to this In-N-Out burger. We're all in good spirits. I text him, let him know we're there, and 5 minutes later, a Toyota Tundra pulls up. And the guy that jumps out, I mean, how old would you say he was? 25?
Yeah.
So this is a 25-year-old dude, is not the guy I talked to. This guy looks like he has no business in a Toyota Tundra.
Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all looking for a new car today? Right here, we don't play no games. You know, what you see is what you get. The motor has been rebuilt. No, I ain't got no paperwork on the motor being rebuilt.
This is just weird. And I might even said to the guy, hey, you're not who I expected to see, but he was real friendly. So these guys just bailed on me. So this guy says, hey, let's go for a drive. So him and I hop in this truck. It sounds good. There's Flowmaster exhaust. We head out on this weird street in the middle of nowhere, and again, it is hot. Now, the first thing I noticed, you guys, he has the air conditioning on, the button's lit, fully cranked, and this thing is blowing warm. Okay, I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
I love his response too.
Yes. So I didn't bring it up immediately. Okay, I'm just acting cool right now. Lean over, put my hand in front of the vent. I know it's not. I know, you know, I don't think he intended to meet somebody on a 90-degree day too. I think this was a bummer for him. So indicator number one, he's like, hey man, stomp on it. I want to show you how badass this thing is. Now the thing that he doesn't realize is that I own an 07 Sequoia, which is basically the same thing as an 02 Tundra. I'm familiar with what mine is like, and this thing wasn't good. The throttle response, the shifting, bad news. So we head back. He wants me to like keep driving with him. We head back towards her. We get there. I climb underneath this thing, and one of the sides of the steering rack is horrific. It is a crime scene. It looks like there is electrical tape wrapped around the boot. It is the sickest. And I have issues with racks because I had to replace one when we went to go buy her Sequoia. Isn't that, what did I tell you? When we were driving to go get it, what did I tell you?
If there's any sign of moisture on it, we're not buying it.
That was it. She even said, what are you going to look for on the Sequoia? I said, I'm looking at the steering rack. If that steering rack's jacked, we are out. And hers was bone dry. We realized after this whole thing how amazing of a deal her Sequoia is. That we really lucked out on that one because there is trash out there. Anyway, so the steering rack is just absolutely repulsive. I also start noticing that the truck smells weird inside. I look back, I notice there's burns on the headliner. I noticed there's a quart of oil in the door pocket, which I really want to give this guy some tips, man. If you have a quart of oil, just take it out before you go meet somebody. He said it took 5 minutes to get to me. We'd only been driving the truck 5 minutes. I opened the hood. The radiator hose is practically melting. It is so hot. This engine is putting off so much heat. So I'm under the impression that the AC was working, and it was working hard, but there was an issue where it wasn't blowing cold. And the steering rack, and it was definitely an ex-smoking vehicle. The list just goes on and on. I look inside the fenders, and there are an old HID kit. I mean, who's running an HID kit anymore? Zip tied inside the wheel wells. I didn't even tell you about that. I'm like, oh man, it's all rusty and gross, and I checked the oil on it. I mean, so anyways, I asked this guy a couple questions, okay? He is so enthusiastic. He's like, you know what? You're going to get back to where you're going. You're going to call me and tell me, you know, thank you so much for selling me this truck. And these lines this dude's giving me are so bad. So cigarette holes, interior reeks like cigarettes, steering rack's absolutely blown out. The front axle is actually seeping really bad on the driver's side. Man, what else? One thing after another. Now, you guys, this is a $7,500 truck. Okay, with 280,000 miles. I'm completely aware how worn out that it could possibly be. But this thing was gross. Now, you know how there's like a million old guys out there that have these Tundras, and you could hop in them, and you know, it might be a little dirty inside from them doing some work. No, this one smelled like gross old cologne. It smelled like somebody was trying to cover up cigarettes. The tent was weird inside. It just had a weird vibe to it. Oh, and
But he knew. I just want you all to know, he knew. He opened my door about 5 minutes after they got back from their drive, and I could just tell by the way he was talking to me.
I gave you a look, and I said, I am so disappointed right now. I am so sorry that I just dragged you guys hours on this beautiful sunny day to go look at this thing. And, you know, I know this is, you know, what are you going to do, right? That's the fun of it all. So anyways, my heart is out, right? I'm done. I don't like this truck whatsoever, and this is where it gets good. This is where it gets good, you guys. So he is just trying to oversell it again. I am trying to pull away from him to get in her car and leave. And the guy goes, hey, look it right here. I got the title, and I got the bill of sale, and I got everything ready to go. Being curious, I lean over and I take it from his hand. A couple things are going on here. We actually have access to a couple titles here. I'm actually going to go look in a few minutes. I have never seen a title or had a title in my entire life that isn't a tri-fold piece of paper. The title itself is folded in half, and then there's one more fold, which is the release of liability, which you can, what do they call that? Where there's like you can rip it off.
Perforated?
It's perforated. This was a title that had never been folded in half, and the paper felt a little weird. and it was already filled out. And there was a weird name on it that didn't match his name, and the date was from 4/26, and we're in 5-something right now, and it's missing the original release of liability, and he has another photocopy from the DMV that's already been filled out of some other one, and they look like they've been tattered up pretty good. I mean, this isn't when you run for your life. This is when you sprint for your life. Okay. And so I couldn't help myself, and I said, dude, I don't think this is a title. And he goes, no, this is a title. He was a little insulted, and he's holding up to the sky trying to show me, look at it, has these bear watermarks on it and whatever, you know. And maybe he's right. Maybe I don't know that was maybe, you know sometimes you see like those huge sheets of dollar bills before they get cut up at the mint.
Yeah.
So maybe he got this thing, you know, from the government where they print them from, and it never got folded or sent in the mail. I don't know. Why was it releasing? Why was the release of liability missing? Why was it already filled out? Why was it from a couple weeks ago? Oh, and to top it off, we're in Antioch. He told me that that's where the truck had lived for the last like 15 years. It was right down the street, but this title was from like 500 miles down south in a weird town I've never heard of. Not some things were adding up. Everything wasn't adding up at all. So I looked at him. No go. Am I missing anything? The guy was nice. I'm gonna give him that. No. He was friendly. I mean, like,
to the eye, looked great.
It did look great.
It was body was very clean.
It was a really nice truck. A couple things I had going for it. It had a spray and bed liner. It had a tonneau cover. Like I said, it had a like $100 Pioneer deck, and the body was good. But this was a free opportunity for me to learn some big lessons right here. Complete freebie. So I'm gonna stay away from the 280,000 miles. I don't care if the thing was celebrity owned or what. We're gonna do. I'm gonna be a little patient.
Y'all heard it.
Yeah, I'm not 280,000 miles is crazy. Initially I said 200 was my cap, but I thought $7,500. I can do 280, especially if it has a rebuilt engine, which he said he had all the paperwork. He had no paperwork for anything. So as soon as we drove off, you know what's weird? I'm not sure how the whole thing. I'm not sure if I explained to him how disappointed I was, or if I was just mumbling at him like
I don't think you explained anything to him.
I literally, it was like mic drop. I'm holding this title. I just like dropped it and walked back to her vehicle, and we just drove away. And
then he's staring at me like,
"What are you guys doing? I thought you were taking this thing home." Yeah, this was appalling. The whole thing that happened, which is totally weird.
There's positives to this.
Yeah, there's huge positives to this.
Like, we don't have a weird, shady-ass vehicle here.
You know what's weird, too, is I'm not sure if... I don't think I've seen it since it was the ad. I think it got taken off that night, so I don't know if somebody bought it or if... I don't know. I don't know what happened. I think it's really weird, though, that this guy... I sounded... I don't even know what to say. I just think it's weird that he invited us up knowing that I sounded like... I told him, I was a Toyota guy,
like,
and I knew what I was doing. I mean, did he really think there was like 20 things he was going to have to pull off and hide from me? It was totally weird.
Well, he tried.
He did try. This was a sick...
A for effort.
Sick Tundra. Anyways, the good news is we didn't come home with a yucky Tundra. We got In-N-Out Burger. Yes. Again, we don't have In-N-Out Burger around here, guys. We don't get it very often. It was delicious. And but the downside was we spent like 6 hours in a vehicle. It was really hot out. Probably spent $50 worth of gas. But again, it's I don't even know. Looking back on a couple days later, we're like, yeah, no big deal. It was fun. But at the time on the way home, I was a tiny bit frustrated, although I was super relieved. When I was younger, have we ever walked away from vehicles? This is what I was thinking earlier. The only vehicle I think you and I have gone to look at that we walked away from was that gold 4Runner. You remember that? We drove to San Jose one time to look at a gold 4Runner for her.
Yes, for me.
We met a really nice Middle Eastern guy, and he didn't tell us. It had been smoked in.
Cigarette burns all over. I wanted it so bad still, though.
I know.
I did. I was mad at him that he made me walk away from that car.
And I have bought 2 vehicles in my life that were ex-smoker vehicles, and at the time it just doesn't seem like a big deal. You know what's weird? I was watching a Watch JR Go video. I don't know if you guys watched that channel. I was watching it last night. And he just bought a brand new Nissan, well, not brand new, but he bought this used Nissan, and it's a smoker vehicle. And the title of the vehicle was like, this thing was destroyed by cigarettes, and he didn't really notice that when he bought it. Because when you're buying it, you're like, you know what, no big deal. Yeah, I'll open the doors or whatever. No.
No.
It is like...
If only you had your channel when you had your 4Runner, so
yeah,
you could see what you did.
I had this 4Runner that I bought. It was accidentally bought it, a smoker vehicle. I ripped out the entire interior. I replaced the floor padding and carpet. I never got rid of it, too. I mean, you could still, when you turn on the heater,
Yeah,
it
you
was
could
still,
still
it
smell
was in the
things.
ducting of the HVAC system. There was no,
Yeah.
there was no getting rid of it. So anyways, so I'm kind of bummed. So I guess the search continues. I don't know if I just need to, I just be patient. You know, I know they're out there. You guys aren't even gonna believe this. There's one right down the street from us, a beautiful Tundra. The last few days, every time I drive by it, I go, I should find that guy and ask him if he wants to sell it to me. So she comes home just a little while ago, and I go on Craigslist, and that truck is for sale. It's in Capitola. I go, I can't even believe it. It's beautiful. You guys, it even has Camberg upper A-arms, Fox coilovers, BFG all-terrains. It's white, four-wheel drive. It's 2002. It has 280,000 miles. Are you kidding me?
Just not allowing him to
I know.
sell.
I was like, oh no, look at no. She's like, wait, didn't we just figure this out? So, yeah. So we're gonna pass on that thing. We're gonna be patient again. So I guess it's back on. Whether it's a T100, a Tacoma, a Tundra. The
There's
thing
not
is,
a lot of musts, but that's gonna be one of them.
I know.
It must be.
you know, I want the air conditioning to work too. Now this is the thing. I don't use air conditioning. I don't care for air conditioning that much. Do I want a car that's supposed to have air conditioning where it's broken? That's not cool. I don't really like things that don't work. So it's weird to say, like, I'm not a stickler about the AC thing, but I don't want to have something that's inoperable. It's just
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll find it.
Yeah,
We'll find
so that was an entire day right there. I mean, we're talking an entire day, and not only that, I was supposed to bring this amazing video to you guys, and I came home with just strange emotions.
Nothing.
But anyways, so I would consider myself, her and I have gone and bought 20 cars minimum, private party, and I somehow got suckered into making this incredible drive and ended up being in the middle of a scam car sale. So if even this could happen to me, you guys really got to be careful. I was thinking I'm going to make a video soon and talk over just the basics. These are the basics of the most important things you got to look for when buying a vehicle. And there's definitely some indicators right off the bat that'll separate the good ones from the bad ones. So that's that. So we live to search another day.
Yes.
I guess.
Craigslist is still our friend.
Yeah, but that was totally nutty, and I wonder where that truck is. I hope somebody doesn't have that thing in their driveway. You know what's weird? To the average person, do they not even climb under vehicles? Because hey, I told you guys when I sold my Tundra, and that was for a lot of money, the guy did not even climb underneath. There are things that will just make me run, and I can't believe that people go buy cars and they don't even look at these just basic, is the thing spewing oil? Now that guy did, he did, I'm not sure if he watched my YouTube channel or if he just knew from something that truck was amazing, and it was. So he lucked out. But man,
Your truck.
Yeah, the one that I sold. That guy
Okay.
lucked
I was like, that
out.
Tundra was not.
No, I'm saying my old white one.
Your
Whoever bought it,
truck,
the
yeah.
dude, that was
Of course.
such a cool truck. I missed that thing. Do I wish I still had it? No. The giant 22s were just, that thing wasn't that fun to drive.
Yeah.
So anyways, search continues. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Later.